Good morning, everybody. My name is Chelsea Mann. I'm a field education trainer with Wella Professional. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today, and we're going to talk about my favorite thing in the whole world, essentially, the Wella Professional's color portfolio. So I wanted first to say a big thank you to Modern Beauty Supplies for having us. And happy birthday to Modern Beauty Supplies. It's their 35th birthday. If you guys didn't already know that, we're doing a series of lives this week at Wella, where we're celebrating Modern's 35th birthday with what better way to do it with education, right? So, I wish there was cake and champagne and all that kind of stuff, but it's hard to share those things live on Instagram. So a little bit of education we'll have to do. Again, my name is Chelsea Mann, I'm a field education trainer. I'm coming to you from my home studio here in St. Albert, Alberta. A couple of housekeeping things, guys, before we get started. I have a few of my colleagues I already see in the comments there, Hazy and Nick, and Grace. Hey, there's a few people in the comments that are watching the comments, guys. If you have questions, feel free to throw them up there. This is going to be about 40 minutes worth of some really foundational knowledge and things that are sort of really important to being able to, use our color portfolio and use it to its highest ability. So if you have questions, please go ahead and throw them up into the comments or at the bottom of your screen there. There's it looks like a little thought bubble with a question mark in it. You can have the questions go to there as well. Then they come directly to me. Okay. So let's get started, guys. So first of all, I wanted to say I tried to put this into the comments before, and for some reason it's not working. But I wanted to say, first of all, that we're going to have a giveaway today. So while we couldn't celebrate Modern's 35th birthday with cake and champagne, because it's not fun to watch somebody else eat and drink, we decided to have giveaways instead. So all of the Wella lives throughout the week, guys, including the ones that have already happened yesterday and on Monday, have giveaways built in. So I'm not going to tell you guys how to enter the giveaways. You have to go back and watch the videos that we posted yesterday and Monday to have the giveaways for those. But for our giveaway today, I'm going to ask you guys to do a couple of things. So if you guys want to enter our giveaway today for Wella Professionals, we're going to give away some color. We're going to give away some new Illumina shades. We got all kinds of fun stuff planned for you guys. You guys can go over to Wella Canada West and give us a follow there. That's my personal Instagram or my work Instagram there at chelsea.wella. Follow both of those and to go ahead and tag a friend in the comment of this video. And we can enter you into our giveaway. There's also going to be a secret hashtag that I'm going to drop a couple of times during this video, and I'll remind you of it again at the end. When you comment on it, in order to have your entry go in, we need you to tag a friend and use the secret hashtag that I'm going to tell you about a few times in this video. Okay, so as Zena's saying in the comments there, we have lots of amazing prizes, although it's the middle of the week, so her spelling's not as good as it could be, but we've got lots of amazing prizes this week to celebrate Modern's 35th birthday. They're such an amazing distribution partner for us, and we're very happy to be live with you guys today. So I'll put this image up again later, guys. Zena's again in the chat there if you guys want. There's some of the hashtags as well. Okay, so I'll put these up again later and you guys can enter our giveaways. Okay, so we're going to talk Wella Professional's color portfolio today, guys. So for those of you that are in the comments or that are watching now that use Wella Professionals or Wella Company products, I don't have to tell you, how great they are. I don't have to tell you how wide our portfolio is and how it really equips the hairdresser to dream big and dream loud and do all the things that you want to do with your client's hair, offer them all the tools and support that they want to have and all of that stuff. So but if you're new to our portfolio, I think that first of all, welcome. But I think that you'll find very quickly that at Wella we very much stand behind the science of hair color. We're science believers. Woo-hoo. So we very much stand behind the science of hair color. Our products are built intentionally that way to support the hairdresser in ways that make sense, right? With one of the things I love about Wella is that there's no gimmicks with Wella. We don't go in for those sorts of shenanigans. For the Mad Men fans out there will understand that reference. But we don't, we love our science. We love our nerdy educators, and that's why I'm here. Okay, so let's get nerdy. So first of all, I want to talk, before I get into the portfolio, I want to talk a little bit about theory, okay? Because I'm in the field teaching a lot. I teach at a lot of different salons, to varying levels of capability and knowledge, which is totally fine for the students that are watching. We love you. We're behind you. Don't let one bad apple sort of deter you. We're here to support you. You can slide into my DMs anytime. You go for it. But at Wella, we very much believe that you can't build creativity without the foundational knowledge, without that, you know, base theoretical knowledge. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with a little bit of theory. So I pulled out this gem from the depths earlier when I was planning for this live. This is a sheet that I had made years and years and years ago. I've used it many times in classes, and it shows you the structure of the hair. So instead of me sitting here holding it and, you know, you guys having to deal with it, there it is on your screen, okay? So this is the structure of the hair, guys. I'm going to let you guys go through this in comments, but I'm going to continue on. If you guys want to comment there and tell me what the structure of the hair is, number 1, 2, and 3 there, I would love to see it. Zena, not you. I know you know the answer. But this, I'll wait for you guys to go in the comments. I think that when it comes to structure of the hair, this is something people always lean on the color wheel. They're like, the most important thing we need to know as far as color is always the color wheel, which is true. The color wheel should permeate every sort of color formulation that you do. You should always be thinking primary colors, secondary colors, those sorts of things. And I'm going to show you guys that today as well. But I think that it's important that you understand the structure of the hair, because this is really going to be an indicator of where certain pigments live, okay? So when I talk about semi-permanent colors, guys, we're talking about pigments that live in the cuticle layer of the hair, that are sort of staining the outside of the hair, maybe wedging under sort of a cuticle layer. I don't have anybody in the comments yet, so I'm going to tell you number 1 is your cuticle layer. It's the outermost layer of the hair. So that's where our semi-permanent and our temporary pigments live, right? So for Wella professionals, our semi-permanent pigments are anything in our Color Fresh family, right? So our vivids, we also make more natural or, you know, natural is probably the best word, shades in our semi-permanent family as well. Our vivid range is really, really beautiful. It's called Color Fresh Create. Sorry guys, I put my swatch book on the floor and then it fell over just then. But so our vivids are really, really beautiful. Color Fresh Create, they're these vivids here, okay? But we also make a section of our natural colors in semi as well, okay? So again, colors that live on that outside structure of the hair, okay? And I'm gonna come back to Color Fresh shortly, okay? In number 2 there, that's our Cortex Layer, okay? Our Cortex Layer, the most important thing you need to know about our Cortex Layer is generally when you're talking about hair color, you're talking about the Cortex Layer of the hair. It's where our natural melanocytes live, where our natural melanin is produced, is in the cortex cells. It's where the fun dance that is oxidative color happens in those cortex cells. That, you know, creates the color result that we're doing on all of our clients. And the cortex cells are also on a very sort of microscopic level, is where all of our repair is happening when we're using our Wellaplex or our Wellaplex products, which we're going to talk about a little bit today as well, okay? Number 3 on your screen there, guys, points to the medulla, okay? So the medulla, this is a trick question that I ask all the time in my classes, just because it's, you know, fun to watch people's sort of heads, you know, their wheels start to spin and they start to make the connections, right? Officially, guys, the medulla doesn't really have a role in coloring hair. It's not, there's no melanin produced there. It's not active in our hair coloring process. Excuse me. Some people don't even have a medulla. It depends on what part of the world you're from. It depends on how coarse your hair is. It depends on your genetics. So for our purposes, guys, you can sort of just not worry about number 3 there, not worry about the medulla at all. Really, guys, when we're focusing on what type of pigments we're using and why we're, thank you, Zena, why we're choosing the products that we're choosing, we really need to be focused on this structure of the hair piece, right? Do we want, you know, where do we want the pigment to live, okay? And this leads me to a hopefully short conversation about permanency, okay? People ask me all the time, if I mix a low volume or a 6 volume developer with a permanent color, with a Colliston Perfect color, will it turn it into a demi? And the answer to that is no. And it's no all day, it's no every day, it's no for every brand, no, okay? The pigment that is in the tube of color, guys, cannot be changed by the developer you mix it with, okay? The type of pigment and where it lives in this hair structure is to do with the pigment that's in the tube. The developer is the catalyst that makes the color result happen. It makes it happen in the inside structure of the hair, in those cortex cells, but if you're mixing a low volume developer with a permanent color and thinking that it's not going to lift, you're going to be disappointed, right? A permanent color, the permanent pigments or the oxidative pigments that are in a permanent color will continue to be permanent or oxidative pigments regardless of what you mix it with. Okay, mixing a low volume developer with a permanent color and asking it to be a demi is like asking a monkey to be a giraffe, right? The monkey may be able to make the giraffe noise, but it'll never grow the long neck. Okay, and I always think about it in terms of, melting the ice cube or frying the egg, right? If you melt an ice cube, it turns to water. And then if you put it back in the freezer, it'll turn back to ice. This is a physical change of state, right? Or a non-permanent change. Hey, Brazil. If you are frying an egg, if you heat up a pan and crack an egg into it and it fries the egg, that's a chemical change. The heat has facilitated a change that is irreversible in that egg, right? So I think it's important to understand when you're choosing color or a type of color that you're going to use, whether it's semi or demi or permanent or whatever it might be. Understand not necessarily that you're going to use a permanent color because you think it's going to last the longest, but you're using a permanent color because you're trying to cover gray or lift. You're trying to make a permanent change to the structure of the hair, which happens in those cortex cells, okay? I hope that was clear, guys. We have a limited amount of time here, but if you need more information on structure of the hair, where pigments live, or those base sort of color theory things, please feel free to send me a message. Again, guys, this is our giveaway slide again, but that's my Instagram right there. You guys can message me anytime, okay? So for those of you that are watching that are planning on joining our giveaway, your secret hashtag is this, Illuminage, okay? Illuminage is our new spring-summer 2021, almost at 2020, spring-summer 2021 trend. It's a beautiful, multifaceted, dimensional balayage technique that's, very user-friendly. It's very easy. It's very curated and customizable. We're already teaching it in the salon. You can find the create books for this on the Wella app, but that's your secret hashtag that we need to see for you to be able to enter the giveaway, as well as we need you to follow Wella Canada West, Chelsea.Wella, in order for you to be able to enter as well. Of course, I assume that you're following Modern Beauty Supplies if you're here right now. If not, please follow Modern Beauty Supplies as well. Okay, so let's bring some of this into focus. Okay, guys? So, sorry, just putting my book back on the floor. So let's talk about color theory a little bit. So I'm going to try and MacGyver my camera here. Hang on. I demoed this, but of course it won't work now. Ooh, now I've got something on my face here. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit, oh, there we go, yay. We're going to talk a little bit about pigments and how pigments work and all of these things. So I will assume that you all are sort of well-versed on your pigmentation. I'm going to do this a different way here. Now I don't know if I'm doing a lefty-loosey or a righty-tighty. So I will imagine you guys are all well-versed on your primary pigments and your secondary pigments and all of that kind of stuff. In this case, we're going to talk about our pigments. So we've got, oops, I'm going to do this a different way, guys. Sorry, bear with me. So we're going to talk about our primary colors, okay? So our primary colors, guys, and this is basic hairdressing sort of 101, okay? Our primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. So our primary colors exist the way that they do, and I'm just putting this down so you guys can see, exist the way that they do because you can't mix two colors together to create a primary color. They exist on their own, okay? So what I've got here is I just got 3 cups of water that you guys can see, awesome. And we're gonna create our primary colors, okay? I've got food coloring here. This is an experiment I do live all the time in salons, okay? So the first one we're gonna do is blue, okay? We're gonna give it a little bit of a jiggle there so that it mixes up, okay? So now we've got blue, yay. We're gonna do a little bit of yellow to create our second primary color, there we go. Now we've got yellow and we're gonna do a little bit of red. This is just your basic food coloring. I got this at the grocery store, guys, okay? So here's our primary colors, red, yellow, blue, okay? You can't mix 2 colors together to make these colors. Now let's make secondary colors. So if we're gonna make a green, we're gonna do yellow and blue together. But watch this. If I go some yellow, I'm gonna move these back so you guys can see them. If I go yellow like that, okay, You guys see how much yellow is in that cup, right? If I put just a drop of blue in it, see how quickly it turned green, right? I know that it's a little bit translucent because it's on camera and these are clear cups, but see how little of the blue I needed to put in to create that green? That blue pigment, guys, is very, very, very dominant. It's nice, big, fat pigments, and it's a very dominant color, okay? So my point here is that when you're using blue in the salon, when you're creating toners, if you're using a stroke 8.8 for something or a stroke 8.1, be very aware that those pigments are very strong. Blue pigments are very strong, okay? So we need to just always be aware of that. So let's create an orange, okay? So I'm gonna use the rest of my yellow there. And I'm gonna put some red in. Whoop. A little bit more. So I would say, guys, here to create this orange, we've got probably equal parts yellow and red, right? Very different than what we saw when we were using the blue, right? So if I go and I'm going to make a violet, watch this. If I go red, yay. See how much red we've got in there? Okay. If I just put a little bit of blue in, see how dark it got and how quickly? Right? It's kind of a mahogany now, but we're going to put a little bit more in. Yeah, there's a violet. Okay, but see how dark it is? Okay, so the point of this, guys, is that we really see strong pigmentation in blue. So if you're ever wondering why your toner, your color didn't come out, I guarantee you guys, if you break it down to primary, secondary, tertiary colors, you can always, at some point, blame the blue. Okay, maybe that should be the hashtag for this live too. Hashtag blame the blue. So let's go with orange. So when we come into color theory, then we start to talk about neutralization. Now, people get stuck on this idea of neutralization, that neutral means brown. Neutral does not necessarily mean brown. If you think about neutralization as a wearable shade, then it's not too warm or it's not gross looking. It's not sharp or flat or muddy or any of those adjectives that hairdressers use. It's a wearable shade, okay? So don't get stuck that neutral has to mean brown. It does not, okay? Neutral, when it comes to fashion, we think of neutral shades in fashion as black, white, tan, beige, olive green, navy blue. Those are shades that go with a lot of different things, right? So I don't want you to get stuck and think that neutral has to be brown. And if it's not brown, or in the case of blonde, ashy, you have failed. That's not the case. So when we're neutralizing, we need to remember our Christmas, Easter, Oilers, right? So Christmas colors, this is your color wheel, right? Red and green go together. Easter is your purple and yellow go together, and Oilers, as much as I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan and it hurts me to say that, but Oilers colors are your blue and orange, and that's the one we're going to demo today. Okay, so when we're neutralizing this orange, if you have orange in somebody's hair, I'm just going to put a little drop of blue in. Do you guys see how quickly that got dark? Okay, but it's still kind of orangey, but it's not as bright, sort of sharp orangey as it was before. Let's go a little bit more. Oh, okay, so now we've got, guys, I don't know how easy it is for you to see that there, but we've got a neutral shade, but it's kind of an olivey green color, right? The reason for that is the orange, guys, is a secondary color. When we made the orange, it was half blue, or it was half red and it was half yellow, right? So when we put the blue in, it really sort of reacted to create this sort of muddy color, right? So again, it's not necessarily that that neutral needs to be brown. It just needs to be neutral. But this cup before it was orange was a lot of yellow. It started off as mostly yellow, okay? And yellow and blue together make green. There we are, okay? So I'm going to move this out of the way, guys. I have another experiment for you in a second, but I think it's important when we're doing these things to understand that food coloring is not hair color. We understand that, and if you watched my hacker hoax and watch me try to color hair with food coloring or with food, you know that food and hair color don't mix, right? But it is a good example of what it takes to neutralize a shade and how these things sort of happen and sort of the watch outs, okay? So the watch out for this, guys, is beware of the blue. The blue will win every time, okay? So for those of you that missed it, we are doing a giveaway on this live. This is your secret hashtag Illuminage, which is our 2021 trend for Wella. It's a beautiful balayage trend. We want you to follow Wella Canada West and my Instagram at chelsea.wella. Tag a friend in the comments and use this secret hashtag for a chance to win a beautiful Wella prize pack, okay? I'll drop it again at the end, guys. Don't stress, okay? So let's talk a little bit about portfolio, okay? When it comes to color portfolio, like I said at the beginning, we don't have a lot of holes with Wella. We have a broad portfolio of products that really, guys, there's nothing that you can tell me that you want to do with hair color that I can't tell you how to do with Wella, right? So if you guys want to, if you want to test that out, you go for it. Send me a private message. I'm happy to talk color with you guys. It's, yeah, I'm very fortunate that this is the lion's share of my job is just to sit and talk color with people. I'm happy to do that. So if you want to test that theory out that I can't tell you how to do something in Wella color, you go for it. I'm happy to have a chat. Okay. So the first thing that, and probably the jewel of our portfolio, guys, is our permanent line. So remember before we were talking about this, when I say permanent color, guys, I mean hair color that's going into that cortex layer and is going to make a permanent change to the structure of the hair in a fry the egg sort of way, okay? People get stuck when it comes to permanent color that they're like, oh, I'm going to use this because it's going to last the longest. Fair enough, it very well could, but there's many other factors to consider. Does it make sense to make a permanent change to the structure of this client's hair, right? Think about their lifestyle, things like that. I did a few consultation lives, guys, that you can find at Wella Canada West or on Modern Beauty Supplies IGTV, okay? So permanent color for us, guys, is our Colliston Perfect family, okay? Colliston Perfect is a tried, tested, and true brand. It's reliable color. It's predictable color. It's a varied shade portfolio. We have lots of SKUs in Colliston Perfect. And we're always adding new shades. We just added a bunch of new shades at the end of the year last year. And we add new shades all the time to our Colliston Perfect portfolio. When we're using Colliston Perfect, we need to remember our mixing ratio. I hope all of you out there are using a scale, okay? If you're not, and you want to try and convince me that this isn't something we should be doing, I'm happy to hear it, but I don't think you're going to be successful. I'm a big fan of weighing your color. It is the most accurate and predictable way to reduce waste in color, to have predictable results, to have the results that your clients are looking for. So please make sure that you're weighing your color. Bowl on the scale, measure it in grams, in my opinion, is the easiest way to do it. If you measure in ounces, that's okay too. But please measure your color. So your mixing ratio, I'm going to pick this up. You guys saw me drop it. Your mixing ratio for Colliston Perfect is 1:1. So 1 part color to 1 part Colliston Perfect Wellaplex Developer. Okay, so these two go together. Notice the blue packaging with the blue packaging, right? So these are 1:1 without exception. The one exception to this, guys, is when you're using special blondes. Okay, when you guys are doing high lift blondes, which admittedly, guys, isn't something we do a ton of, mostly because we don't see clients with virgin hair all the time. But when you're using a high lift blonde, a 12 series blonde, you're mixing at 1:2, which I think is pretty standard for high lift blondes. Okay, so when you guys are using a high lift blonde, it's 1 part color to 2 parts developer. Other than that, our mixing ratio is 1:1. Okay, I see you, Barberside, in the comments there. Yes, seeing people free mix color also gives me the sweats. It makes me very nervous. Okay, so that is your mixing ratio for your Colliston Perfect family. So for Colliston Perfect, guys, we make your classic developers, 10 vol, 20 vol, 30 vol, 40 vol. We also make a pastel developer or a permanent 6 vol. Okay. For gray coverage on Colliston Perfect, guys, your expectations should be up to 100% gray coverage. Okay. So when you're using the shades, you can expect them to cover up to 100%. We say up to on purpose, guys, because and every manufacturer would say that because there's always some sort of scenario that it wouldn't happen or whatever, but those things are rare. If you guys are having gray coverage issues, please feel free to send me a private message. I'm happy to troubleshoot them with you guys. There's always some sort of nuance and way that we can help. So you got to come to us. Okay. So you guys let me know what you need. So gray coverage is up to 100%. And a little bit of a sort of sidebar back pocket sort of tip for gray coverage, guys. If you're looking at over 50% gray content in the client's hair, throw in a natural into your formula. So anything that's a dominant 0 will help you with gray coverage. Now, that opens conversations about maybe we have to reformulate to do different pigments because the 0 is going to sort of dilute some of your pigment. Totally possible. And again, something that we can talk through, guys. Feel free to send me a message. Okay. So the next family we have in Wella Professionals, and this is what's cool about Wella too, is that everything that we make fits into a family. So I briefly before talked about our Color Fresh family, our family of semi-permanent colors, okay? So everything that says Color Fresh on it is a semi-permanent, meaning it doesn't require a developer, it goes straight from the tube onto the hair, and it's an easy way to keep track of it, okay? Everything in our permanent family is called Colistin Perfect. Pretty easy, okay? In our Demi family, guys, our Demi family is called Color Touch, okay? And Color Touch is so easy to use. It's a nice sort of creamy formula, but you can also mix it in a bottle, which I know is old school, and I'm probably going to take some flack for that. But I love mixing stuff in a bottle. I'll admit it. Whatever. I said what I said. It's for those hairstylists that are, you know, like me and have been around a really long time, you know, those memes where they say like, oh, if you, grew up watching Saved by the Bell, it's time for an eye cream. Well, I have all the eye creams. Okay. And I need to make sure I save my back. So mixing things in a bottle and doing my toners that way, really, really great. But we also have applications for Color Touch that are nice and quick that you guys can, you know, do a really fast color application from a bottle in Wella Color Touch. Okay. So Color Touch mixing ratio, guys, is 1:2. So 1 part color to 2 parts developer. Okay. So in our developer, guys, we have 2 different Demi developers. One is 6 vol, one is 13 vol, or for those of you that speak percents, 1.9 and 4%. Okay. Expectations for our Demi line, guys, you can expect a nice long-lasting Demi, okay? And I say that on purpose, even though I don't think that's written, I'm not sure that's written anywhere in any of our literature. But I find our Demis, guys, I'm a Wella educator now, I've been a Wella educator for a long time, but I've used everything. I've used lots of different products. I test out things to this day. I will tell you, our Demis are so long-lasting, they're so shiny, they're so usable. They're my second favorite thing that we make, and anybody that knows me knows what my favorite thing is. I'm going to talk about it in a second, okay? But our Demis are amazing, guys. Great shade portfolio, really easy to use. Our Demis are ammonia-free. They're just like, they're a dream. They're an absolute dream to work with, okay? So 1 part color, 2 parts developer with our Demi range. In our Demi range, we make a full range of toners. We make a full range of, you know, darker colors. We make a range of pastels. We make all kinds of stuff. Zena knows what my fave is. We make all kinds of stuff in Demis, guys. Again, clients that we use Demis on are maybe first timers. We use a lot of Demis to tone, you know, but there's nothing that you can dream up that you want to do with a Demi that I can't tell you how to do with Color Touch. Jump into my DMs. I'm happy to chat about it, okay? For those of you that are just joining us today, we are doing a giveaway. This is our giveaway, and all week with Wella Professionals here on Modern Beauty Supplies to celebrate their 35th birthday. We are doing giveaways every day this week. We'll be drawing the winners on Monday. But we're you know, doing our lives all week, and there's going to be a giveaway in each one. So if you missed our lives on Monday and Tuesday, go back on Modern Beauty Supplies or on Wella Canada West. Check them out on IGTV, and you can enter those giveaways still as well. Okay. For our giveaway today, guys, we're giving away a Wella Professionals Color Prize Pack. So to enter, I need you guys to follow at Wella Canada West. Of course, please follow at Modern Beauty Supplies as well. That's my Instagram there at chelsea.wella. On the video here, guys, add a comment that has the secret hashtag in it that I flashed before, and I'm going to do it again in a second. And please tag a friend. Okay. So there's the secret hashtag that we need to see in order for you guys to enter for the giveaway. Okay. So let's talk about my favorite thing. Okay, my absolute favorite thing that we make, and I say this pretty much on every live at every opportunity that I have. My favorite thing that we make is this. It's called Illumina. I use more Illumina than anything else that we make, probably short of a lightener, because our lighteners, you know, more than 70% of the clients that come into the salon get a lightening service. But this is Illumina. Illumina is absolutely the most beautiful color I've ever used. And like I said, guys, I've used it all. I've tested it all, and side by side, pound for pound, whatever way you guys want to spin it, this is my favorite thing of life. Okay. Illumina color is really, really great for several reasons. But the first thing I want to say about it, guys, is that Illumina color, technically by definition, is permanent. Okay. So permanent meaning it lives in that cortex layer of the hair, that sort of inner layer, that number 2 there, okay? So similar to our Colistin Perfect, they both live in that same space, okay? So I wanted to make that clear, because sometimes people come back to me and they say, oh, I used Illumina to tone and it, you know, it lifted a little bit. Yeah, so it's by definition is a permanent color, an oxidative color, okay? So I wanted to be clear about that. But so then the next thing people say to me about Illumina is like, okay, if it's permanent, what's the difference between Colorist Perfect and Illumina? Well, I'm glad you asked. The difference is twofold, okay? So the first thing that's different about Illumina Color is that Illumina Color will give you a sheer dimensional finish in a way that's really respectful of the natural pigments in the hair, okay? So for example, my hair naturally is about 25 to 30% gray. Now I just got my hair colored, so it's hard to tell, but like all of this, oh yeah, there it is. All of that is natural, okay? I've got a big gray patch in the back as well. I've got another one over here. So when I don't color my base anymore, I love my gray, I wear my gray, we have a great relationship. But if I were to color my base, if I were to put an artificial root shadow on this, I certainly would do it with Illumina. And the reason for that is that it would give me a nice sort of blended natural highs and lows with my gray. You guys like that? Natural highs and lows with my grays in a way that's going to be very respectful as it grows in, and you know, a really nice sort of finish. Okay, so that's the first thing with Illumina that I love, is that nice dimensional, respectful, natural looking finish. I do a lot of lived in hair, I do a lot of free painting and a lot of balayage, so Illumina is a great choice for me for root shadowing and toning. The other reason that I love Illumina is that Illumina has a violet rosé base. Okay, so meaning that the base, or the chassis is a word we use sometimes, that the color is built on is violet, okay? So most permanent colors, including Colorist Perfect, is built on a brown gold base. The reason for that is because when we're trying to cover gray, we need to have that brown gold base in order to sort of round out the color profile. In Illumina, because we're doing a more sheer or sort of dimensional finish, we can use a violet rosé base in order to create a more cool sort of natural looking finish, as opposed to the more saturated finish we're going to get out of Colorist Perfect. Okay, so Illumina, the second way that it's different, it will give you a more natural or cooler end result. Okay, so yeah, this is why I love Illumina so much. It's absolutely my favorite thing we make. I use so much of this stuff. I can't keep enough of it in stock, right? But it's really great. So if you haven't tried Illumina, I encourage you to head down to Modern Beauty Supplies and grab a few tubes off the shelf. It won't take much, guys. My favorite shades in Illumina: 9-stroke 60, 6-stroke 16, 9-stroke 43. I love everything in the opalescence range. So grab a few shades of Illumina and some Developer and give it a shot, guys. You will not be disappointed. So Illumina, guys, as well, you can mix with any of our developers. So you can mix it 1-to-1 with our Colorist Perfect developer, or you can mix it 1-to-2 with our Color Touch developer, depending on your expectations of it. Okay. So know, guys, also with Illumina, that Illumina has a gentler lift to it. Okay. So if you're expecting a high amount of lift, you probably want to use KP or Colorist Perfect. But Illumina is the best at what it does. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about lighteners, because that's our next family. Okay, our next family is our Blondor family, and this brand spanking new guy right here, this is our Blondor Plex. So our Blondor family encompasses all of our lighteners. So we've got our regular multi-blonde, our traditional lightener that everybody's seen. We've got a extra cool blonde that has blue and green direct dyes in it. That's going to help to cool as you lift. We've got our soft blonde, which is a cream lightener, has aloe and chamomile and a bunch of other sort of caring, feel-good properties to it, okay? Up to 7 levels, all of those guys. We've got our Free Lights, which is our clay-based lightener, okay? That's a closed system. It has its own developer. The rest of our lightener family, you can use... the rest of our developer family you can use with the rest of the Blondor family, okay? We also have Magma, which is our colored lightener, so it's lightener with pigment in it. Those of you that are TikTok fans have seen the pink lightener video. If you have, that's Magma stroke 65, okay? So if you haven't seen that video, guys, head over to TikTok and just search pink lightener, or you'll find it. Okay, I have a question in the comments here, guys. Use Pastel Developer with Illumina. Thank you for that question. It's a really good one, and the answer is yes. You can totally use Pastel Developer with Illumina for deposit, or maybe a gentle amount of lift on somebody with already light hair, things like that. If you're asking because you want to use Illumina in a way that it's going to minimize the lift, you can use it as a glossing service. Okay, so a glossing service is 1 part color to 1 part developer to 1 part post color treatment. Will allow you to minimize the lift on Illumina if you're using it to tone. Okay, thank you for your question. I hope that answered it. If it didn't, comment back, totally fine. So the latest jewel in our Blondor portfolio, guys, is this one. This is our Blondor Plex. Okay, it's brand new, just came out last year. And Blondor Plex is our multi-blonde lightener that everybody knows and loves and wins awards all the time and all of that kind of stuff. But this one has the Wellaplex technology built into it. Okay, so if you haven't tried Wellaplex before, head on over to Modern Beauty Supply and grab a kit. It's really, really great stuff. Okay, and if you guys have questions about Wellaplex, we're not really going to talk about it today because I had a limited amount of time. But if you have questions about Wellaplex, please drop them into my DMs. I'm happy to answer them. Okay. Blondor Plex is our new baby, okay? Mixing ratio on this is anywhere from 1:1 to 1:2, depending on what you're trying to do with it, okay? Remember, guys, that the, a 1:1 mixing ratio is certainly going to lift a little bit faster than a 1:2 mixing ratio, okay? We say thicker is quicker, okay? Maybe that's the hashtag for this live, the hashtag thicker is quicker. But if you're looking, I like my lightener at 1:2. I like a creamier mixture, but if you're somebody who likes to have, faster lift, or you're looking to sort of push somebody through, mix it at 1:1, okay? Now, when I start talking about lighteners, guys, people always ask me the age-old question is, can we put our lighteners under heat? If I put it under heat, it's gonna lift better and it's gonna do all this kind of stuff. Fun fact, guys, spoiler alert for anybody that does this, putting your lightener under the dryer, guys, does not, I repeat, does not make it lift better, okay? Will it make it lift faster? Yes, it'll totally make it lift quickly, right? That being said, there's a give and take. Everything to do with hairdressing, guys, there's always a give and take. Can I give you faster lift if you put it under heat? Sure, but what I'm going to take back from you is the condition of the hair. And this isn't just Wella products, guys. This is any sort of persulfate-based lightening product. As soon as you heat it up, will it lift faster? Yes, but it's also really going to do some damage. And at the forefront of our minds at colorists, guys, as colorists, should always be the health of the client's hair. We should never be making decisions for a client's hair that are irresponsible. And that's essentially what putting your lightener under the dryer is. It's irresponsible, right? So, I'm again happy to have conversations about these details, guys. If you want to ask me questions in my DMs, please feel free to do that. Know that I'm on Modern Beauty Supply's Instagram right now. So my personal Instagram is at chelsea.wella. It's right there. Okay. So you guys can join me on my Instagram anytime you want. Okay. But my point, guys, is that we don't put our lighteners under the dryer. I've been a working hairstylist for almost 25 years. We're in my studio right now. I don't put my lighteners under the dryer. I never do this. And you guys can see the type of work that I do and the type of lift that I get out of my Wella products. There's really no need for it. You just need to maybe be a bit more patient, right? So let's talk, for my last experiment here, guys, I do want to talk a little bit more about heat, because while we don't put our lighteners under the dryer, I do think that salon temperature is very, very important. So have you guys ever, I'm sure, worked somewhere or been and got your hair done somewhere where the salon temperature, sorry if you heard that, that was my stand while I moved it, where the salon temperature was awful and you ended up, feeling cold or hot or any of those things, right? So salon temperature is kind of important when we're talking about lighteners. So if you're lightening somebody's hair in the salon, we need to be aware of where they are in the salon. So for example, if you've done, sorry, I'm just trying to move this, guys. If you've done a full head of highlights or a balayage or something, and they're sitting right underneath an air conditioning vent, is their hair going to lift the way that you want it to lift? Probably not. It's probably not your best moment, right? But by contrast, if it's a sunny day out and there's sun beating in your front window and you happen to sit them in front of the window, I feel like you're going to have a better time of it, right? So I'm going to show this to you guys. This is Alka-Seltzer. So I imagine some of you know what Alka-Seltzer is, some of you may not. Those of you that are my age will remember the whole plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is thing. If you don't, look it up on YouTube. You're welcome. Alka-Seltzer is like their effervescent tabs that they call them pain relievers, but most of the time we use them for like if your tummy's not feeling good or it's kind of an antacid, right? The reason that we use them for this experiment, guys, and these are the tabs here. The reason we use them for this experiment, guys, is because they'll get bubbly and fizzy in here, and it's a good example. So what I've got here, guys, is cold water, okay? And you'll see as I pour this in, this has ice in it. So it's cold. It's been sitting here for a little bit, but I put it in my thermal mugs on purpose. So that one's got ice in it, okay? So that's my cold one. In the middle here, guys, I'm gonna have a room temperature one. So this is water that I let it run and put my finger under it until it was kind of the same temperature as my body, right? So this is our room temperature water, okay? And then last but not least, I've got my favorite mug, which I realize may come out backwards, right? It says there's a chance this is wine. For today, it's hot water. So I boiled this water before I started. Ooh, yeah, it's still warm. I boiled this water before I started, so it's nice and warm. Okay, so I'm gonna put these effervescent tabs in here, guys. And oh yeah, I've got some fog there. Change of state. Look at us go. So I'm gonna put these tabs in, guys, and you're gonna see them bubble. Okay, cold, medium, hot. Okay. So what we see here, guys, this one here, this is our middle one in our room temperature water, sank down to the bottom, and it's going sort of at a normal rate. Our cold water one here, guys, is bubbling relatively slowly. Our hot one, by contrast, is almost done. I don't know how much of it you guys can see here, but this, like that tab is gone. Pretty much, it's already gone in that one. Whereas our middle one is still going strong, and our cold one may never actually finish. But this is our middle one, right? Still bubbling, still going. See it there? Okay. So, and our cold one, you guys can see, is still down at the bottom. It's doing its thing, but it's going to take a while. Like he sank right down to the bottom. Okay. The reason why I like this experiment, guys, and you guys can see the hot one now isn't bubbling at all. The middle one is still bubbling, and the cold one may never finish, right? The reason I love this experiment, guys, is because this really shows you how important salon temperature is, okay? If you have somebody who you're sitting next to a window or putting your lightener under heat, it's gonna go really, really quickly, just like the tab that we saw. But the damage that it's doing is, to me, guys, is really not worth it. You know, it's really not worth that client, you know, coming back or being upset, or us being upset. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I stress when my clients aren't happy. Like, it's not a good thing for me, right? The cold one, which is still bubbling. Again, we don't want to sit our clients with lightener on their hair underneath an air conditioning vent. That's not very good. We want to make sure that we have that sort of room temperature, maybe even sit them next to a window with the sun. I'm okay with that. But guys, you don't want to blow their hair away with heat. We don't need to do that. This hot one, and there's a whole thing we do in Master Color Expert where we talk about release of energy and how quickly it goes, and you end up locked at underlying pigment and all that kind of stuff. But for our purposes today, guys, I just encourage you to like experiment maybe on swatches, things like that, with different levels of developer and different ratios of lightener. It's a much more responsible way to get your clients the results that they really want to have. Okay. So again, guys, last but not least here, we're doing a giveaway to celebrate Modern Beauty Supply's 35th birthday. All of our Instagram lives this week for Wella professionals will have a giveaway in them. So if you miss Monday and Tuesday, you can go back and watch the videos. They'll drop the hashtags in at certain points. You have to watch the video to get them. So you have to enter the giveaway, guys. I assume you're already following Modern Beauty Supplies. Otherwise, it's really miraculous you stumbled upon this live. But please also follow at Wella Canada West and at Chelsea.Wella. That's my Instagram, where you guys can DM me anytime. Tag a friend in the comments and use our secret hashtag, okay? So I've dropped it a few times, but last time, guys, that's our secret hashtag for our Wella Professionals prize pack giveaway that we're going to give away due to this live. Our winners will be drawn on Monday, okay? So again, follow at Wella Canada West, at Chelsea.Wella. Tag a friend in the comments and drop that secret hashtag to be entered to win our Wella Professionals gift pack. And don't worry, guys, we will ship it out to you. You don't have to come pick it up anywhere. Like, no stress. Let's get some interaction going. So last but not least, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you to Modern Beauty Supplies for having us. Happy birthday, Modern Beauty Supplies. I wish I had some sort of like confetti cannon or something, but I don't know where to buy those. So I hope you guys enjoyed the live today. Thank you for joining us, carving out the time in your schedules to be here. If you learned anything today, guys, make sure you share your knowledge. You are not the owner of your knowledge. You're only the caretaker of it. It doesn't belong to you. It was given to you freely. So please pay it forward. Otherwise, it's wasted. Thank you guys for joining us today. Happy Black History Month. And we will talk to you guys soon, okay? Share your knowledge, guys. Super important. And wash your hands. Bye.
Every time I wake up, I'm in the action, chips on the table. I want the feel good, I need another percentage. I want the win.